So as you know, we just got some Brahma chickens. And I've talked about this a lot in the recent days. Yesterday, I think I showed you in yesterday's video, the Brahma chickens. A little bitty guy, very friendly. These Brahma chickens are going to be meat birds. They're huge. The rooster itself can get up to 12 pounds. The females can get up to 10 pounds. So we thought this was a good idea so we could be self-sustaining. The last time we bought meat birds, we bought Cornish cross chickens. And you always have to buy those. You can't reproduce Cornish cross. They just don't live long enough. You'd have to have two different breeds, and it's just a lot of work, and I don't understand the whole process and didn't care to learn, to be honest. But when we ran across these Brahma chickens, it really seemed like a good opportunity or a good idea to get some. We got 5 hens, 2 roosters, so we could start producing our own meat. Then we'll raise our own grains so we can feed the chickens. And eventually, if we do everything well, we'll become completely self-sustaining with chicken meat. And I'm really proud of this idea. In the past, we talked about getting some pigs and maybe some goats and just all kinds of different stuff. And we kind of scaled back all that thinking, no, we're just gonna become masters and experts at chicken raising, even if that's all the food we get. Of course, we get eggs, lots of eggs, and then the chicken meat. So as you know, we got 15 chickens that we just incubated and we're gonna eat, we're gonna butcher and eat this year. We'll can it. And it's just part of the life to be off grid, to butcher chickens. That leaves us with way too many roosters. As you know, we already have Frenchie and Rue. Then we're gonna get 2 more roosters, and I'm not even sure we're gonna keep both roosters. If it gets to be too much trouble, we'll have to get rid of one. Right now, Rue and Frenchie get along okay. I mean, they're not trying to kill each other. They get on each other every now and then. Frenchie usually kicks him back, but there's just no way we could have 4 roosters. And roosters don't really do much other than mate. They don't give you the egg. They cost the same as a hen and give you half as much. Now, Frenchie has been really good protector of the hens. Excellent protector. He puts the hens away at night. When there's a storm coming, he makes sure that everybody gets inside. We had a bobcat here one day, and all the hens are trying to, and Rue are trying to get into the chicken coop, and Frenchie was face to face with that bobcat. He was going to sacrifice himself to that bobcat. Now, the bobcat never got inside the chicken run, so they were staring at each other through the fencing. I remember we had 2 other roosters. Actually, it might have been 3 roosters. I don't remember. There was a lot of roosters. We bought a batch from a hatchery, and they mailed them to us, and they died. So we ended up going to Orscheln's, I think it was Orscheln's, and buying female chickens and some straight runs. And a straight run is, nobody knows what it is. Well, for whatever reason, all the straight run chickens died except Frenchie. He was the only straight run that came out of it, and he turned out to be an Americana, which is a pretty popular breed if you like colored eggs. Then we bought, like I said, hens. We bought Buff Orpingtons. When they all grew up, we ended up having more roosters than hens. I don't know how they mess it up. There's supposed to be a 90% accuracy rate at sexing at the hatchery. Maybe the person who handles the chickens at Orscheln's gets them mixed up, but we had more roosters than hens in a female batch of chickens. So I think we ended up getting 3, maybe 4 hens. 1 was killed by a dog, and the rest were roosters. Well, we ended up butchering all those roosters. Yeah, we just couldn't use them, and we kept Frenchie. I kept Frenchie because a lot of folks on YouTube wanted me to keep Frenchie. It has come to my attention that my plans with Frenchie and Rue are going to get me in trouble with subscribers. I got a troll who just chewed me out, called me stupid and the whole thing. So, you know, of course you block those, but then you get the more friendly ones. Oh no, not Frenchie and Rue, please, no. One person suggested I donate Frenchie and Rue. I said in a video that we're gonna have to butcher them. There's just nothing we can do with them. Because those 2 Brahmas will kill Frenchie and Rue. And it would be pretty devastating. So there's no reason to keep them. Now, my thinking is we're off grid, and this is just part of the lifestyle. If you choose to do something, then you have to go all the way. I don't understand that. People come to an off-grid channel and then say, hey, don't live off-grid. I get that a lot. Oh, why don't you hook up to electric for the well or what? But the thing is, I get a lot of comments that fantasize about the lifestyle, romanticize about it. Oh, it would be great to live off-grid. But then when you actually say, okay, here's what we got to do to live off grid, what are you doing? And it's not just a few people. I mean, when you're getting dozens of people saying, don't butcher Frenchie, donating, well, I said in that video where everybody got so upset that it's going to cost us $20 probably each, Frenchie and Rue. You know, $20 to me is a significant amount of money. I know a lot of people don't seem to think 20 bucks is a big deal, but to me, I don't want to lose the 20 bucks. It's actually 40 bucks because it's 2 chickens. Now, they have given us some offspring, so I don't know how to calculate that into it, but in the end, they haven't paid for themselves, and they're not going to pay for themselves. If I were to sell these two, nobody would buy them. There's no papers or anything that says that this is Americana, or they're just, nobody wants roosters. If they want a rooster, they really don't want it for very much money. So I'm gonna have to go put an ad out, try to sell this thing, get $0 out of it basically, after spending $40 on them. So I thought, let's try to get as much money out of them as I possibly can, and we'll butcher the 2 chickens. Well, you can't do that, Rob. You've named those chickens. Yeah, I've named all the chickens, and all of them are eventually gonna get butchered. They have to. They're gonna get old and they're gonna stop producing eggs. What am I supposed to do with them? Just let them live until they die? I don't see how that's smart. And it defeats one of the purposes of living here, being self-sustaining. I think I made a mistake. I usually don't make these kind of mistakes on YouTube. I feel pretty good about all the videos I make. But I felt like that if you're coming to watch an off-grid channel, that you could handle the truth of what off-grid living is all about, and some people can't. And it's quite obvious they can't. So I am going to do something like donate these things or give them away. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll just hang a sign and say, hey, anybody want a rooster? Maybe I'll put it on Facebook Marketplace. Hey, got a rooster? So from now on, the only way I can handle this channel is either not tell you that I'm going to butcher chickens or not tell you what their names are. I find this very confusing. It really is confusing to me. We just incubated 22 meat birds, and according to some of the commenters, showing you those 22 meat birds, or well, 15 I should say, they are no longer allowed to be butchered because now some of you have become attached to those chickens. I don't understand that. I mean, I see other off-gridders, they'll raise a pig and they say, okay, it's time to butcher the pig. They don't show the butchering on video, and neither do I. If you go back last year, I didn't show you any of them. Now, that's what was so strange to me, is I didn't get any complaints last year. We raised all those chicks, 25 of them. I hand bathed them every day. I showed you that I was bathing them and cleaning them and trying to keep them cool. I mean, I really babied those guys. And nobody complained when we butchered those. So I was shocked to hear that people are upset about Frenchie and Rue. Now, a lot of people will say, well, you're not supposed to name your animals. My grandparents named animals. Betsy, I remember Betsy. Betsy was a cow. Oh, Betsy was a great cow. You could tie her up to a tree and she'd eat all the food around the tree. And then you take the rope and you take her over to the other tree, she'd follow you. We took a pistol and shot her. It's just the lifestyle. I mean, it had a name. I remember we had 13 other cows on Grandma's farm, and they were trained. Grandma would call out, come on cows, come on cows. And those cows come running up, and Grandma would give them each a handful of corn so they know that that's what they were gonna get. That's their treat for coming running up the hill. And she'd water them or do whatever she was gonna do with them. Pigs, the same way. Grandma raised pigs to come to you for the day of being shot. She would scratch their bellies. Every day she'd go out there and scratch their bellies so they would be nice and trained. And then what the plan was is that Grandma would call the pigs, come on pig. Pig come running up, and she'd take a stick and scratch the belly just like she'd always do while somebody else shot the pig. I remember the first time I was part of that. Dad showed me on the first pig how to do it, and then on the second pig I did it. Then he took the skull and cut it and showed why my shot was so much worse than his shot. So I learned a lot from that experience on how to butcher animals, and all of these animals were named. It was just the way I was raised. You don't get attached. I mean, yeah, they're nice to have around and they're fun to have, but at some point you know that it's just going to end. But we have to accept that if you're going to watch an off-grid channel, These are the realities of off-grid. I'm not sure what a lot of people expect about off-grid living. Is it just, okay, well, he's got solar panels, so he's off-grid, or, you know, he's got a well, he's off-grid, tiny house, yeah, he's got that covered. But when you actually start talking about sustainability, oh no. What I find really interesting is that I know there's a lot of preppers that come on my channel. And here's what I find about prepping channels, not so much preppers, but the prepping channels. They sit around talking a good talk, talking a good game. Well, you got to have stockpile your food, and you got to have a solar suitcase, which I think those things are ridiculous. Solar suitcase, they're just, I can't even figure out why anybody have one. And they talk about medical supplies and all this, but none of them have ever tried it. No one's ever tested to see if it would work. Told you a while back, somebody on Facebook had canned a bunch of food, and they thought, you know, we ought to see if we can actually survive on this food. So they went 30 days on the food that they had. They lost weight, just all kinds of problems. They ended up running out of food. They didn't have enough food. They had to reduce the amount of calories they were taking in. It was miserable. Whereas Carolyn and I think we'll do just fine because we're already doing it. We are surviving, thriving, just like a survivor thinks they will. I was telling Carolyn, there's this guy, Prepper channel, and he talks about all the medical supplies he has and how trained he is on those medical supplies. And he's got a kid and a wife. I asked Carolyn, I said, I wonder if he gets hurt out in the woods with his kid while he's hunting, does the kid know how to apply these medical bandages? So if you'll check out that super thanks button, I'd really appreciate it. Today, I really would like to inspire you to really think about what it is that you want out of your dream. And can you actually do it? Thanks for watching.